Hey, welcome to EdotGdot and Friends. My name is Elden Killian, and I'll be your host today. Today we are presenting Trick or Treat, every game ranked from October 2021. This is my series where I rank every game that I played in an entire month, and this is from October 2021. This was a special month. It's the first time in quite a while, due to pandemic and whatnot, that my big game group, the Columbia Basin Board Game Society, has gotten together, and we did our annual Walla Walla trip where we went to Walla Walla, Washington, and played games for the weekend. Yeah, we haven't done this for quite a while. We usually do it in February, but we figured it has been quite a while, and so we wanted to go ahead and do that. So we're going to go ahead and let's get moving on with the list. Dog. Specifically, Dog Royal was my least favorite game that I played this month. I have a long history of this game. I dislike it quite a bit. It was one of the Dog Royal is I'll say this. Dog Royal is the only version of Dog that I will play. Dog is a sorry type game, but it is played with pairs. So you're playing with a teammate, and you get to pass cards a little bit. And there's some slightly different rules. Dog Royal gives some characters to the different pawns, and a little extra rules that make it slightly better. But again, my friend Tim makes us play this game occasionally. Interestingly, we usually play 6-player. We play this one 4-player. Also, we lost terribly. We were in a huge lead, and then everything in sorry-like fashion went down the pit. So anyway, Dog Royal. If you like sorry-type games with a little extra rules, this might be a game that you enjoy. But anyway, Dog Royal. Next, 27 of 28, Hedgehog Roll. This game was a nominee for the Kinderspiel des Jahres, I believe, last year. It took me a while. I usually like to try out all these games, and it took a while, but Game Right eventually brought it over to the United States, and I picked up a copy. This is a roll and move. The cool thing about this one, though, is instead of rolling dice or spinning a spinner, you roll a little tennis ball, and it picks up with the fuzz these little like vinyl sticker type things that the ball will pick up as it rolls across, and then whatever vinyl stickers it picks up or flips over, that helps dictate where you can go on your turn. It's a little gimmicky, but yeah, I don't know. I played this with some kids, and even they didn't super love it. It probably worked well with younger kids than what I played with, though. Anyway, number 27, Hedgehog Roll. Number 26, A Table is Lava. I finally got to play this with one of my friends named Eric, who generally likes games like this. I've tried it a couple of times, but I actually bought this game to play with him. He didn't seem to love it that much, at least my impression while he was playing. And it's okay. It is very silly. You're tossing cards and getting to put meeples out. If the meeples land on the table's lava. They get eaten up to go away. I mean, it's stupid and silly. It's okay for a lark, I guess. Anyway, the table is lava. Number 25, the game Quick and Easy. I'm a big fan of the game for certain things, and the game Quick and Easy is just that. It plays quick and easy. You can lose the game very fast. It takes that concept of the game, which if you're not familiar with, you are building cards with 2 rows going low to high and 2 rows going high to low. You must play all the cards in the deck to win the game. Quick and Easy just has one line going up, one line going down, but it introduces some colors, some suit colors, and tweaks the rules just a little bit. It's okay, but I do feel like you get really unlucky just on the initial draw and lose really super fast. Even if you do beat the game, though, it lives up to its name. It's very quick, but it does not live up to its game. It is not easy. I've lost this game quite a bit. But if I'm running it down, the game is way better. I'd play this if I had 5 minutes to play, and I'd play the game if I had 20 minutes to play. Anyway, number 24, Super Mega Lucky Box. This is another Game Right game that I picked up. This game is not terrible, but it's also super mega lucky. What you're doing is you're drawing cards, and you have these cards in front of you that have a 3x3 grid, and as the numbers come up, you are Xing off one of those numbers somewhere on your 3 cards, and you're trying to make rows, columns, and eventually black out the card to score points. I think it has some interesting decisions, but it's probably a little more lucky, and it's probably a little more basic. It actually works really well with certain groups. Like somebody doesn't. If you don't want to play something really heavy, this works fine. Anyway, Super Mega Lucky Box was my 24th favorite game this month. 23 is Paper Dungeons. This is a roll and write. I kind of liked this. I felt like it was almost like 5% too involved though, or like the rules were just a little too complicated. It took a little while to explain the game, more than it deserved for what the game was. But it's not bad. What you're doing is you roll these different symbols, and they let you move around this dungeon that is created. Everybody plays on the same dungeon, but you can pick different routes. You get different bonuses. There's a little bit of racing to get to certain spots on the board, and you're just trying to score the most points with the rolls that everybody got. And in that way, it's interesting. We did kind of mess up. We forgot to pay attention to the one cards that are kind of a race. Anyway. And we just forgot to score them. I'd play this again, definitely if it came up and some people wanted to play it, but it's maybe not something I'm gonna go buy and seek out. Hand of Fate Ordeals. This is a big sprawling deck builder dungeon crawl type game. This game, it wasn't terrible. Maybe because I won. I do feel like it was very involved and it got long. Somebody at the table said it outstayed its welcome. With the explanation and the play, I think we played for like between 3 and 4 hours, which is probably about an hour too long. But it wasn't terrible. You get to go through these dungeons. Sometimes like you go into a dungeon and so a couple things that happened. As the winner, I didn't feel great about everything. First of all, I didn't really understand how the combat worked for like 45 minutes into the game, so I just let everybody else do combat, and I just kind of sat back until I got a feel for it. And in doing that, I was able to build up my character a little bit stronger, and so I never really failed any of the combats, and I was strong enough to kind of withstand any bad things that happened. I was the only player who didn't die during the game. When you die, you just respawn, but you lose a bunch of points and you lose your stuff. And so that never happened to me. And so I just kind of rolled along and just kept accumulating points. I also got super lucky. Like you take, like when you take damage, I just got super lucky and never really got hurt very much. Because some of them are like, oh, you lose an apple, but if you don't have an apple, nothing happens. And that happened to me a lot. Like things like that where it didn't really hurt me, so I wasn't losing health points, but everybody else, like Ian at the table, I think in one turn he lost 8 of his 10 health points in one super unlucky turnover of cards. And I mean, it was fun. If you take it too seriously, you're going to be super upset, but it does drag on a little long. Like if it would have been an hour shorter, I probably would have liked the game better. But anyway, Hand of Fate Ordeals is what it was. 22 out of 28 this month. 21. So Strike, the dumbest game in the entire world, but is consistently a blast. I played this a fair number of times this month. I set it up at the little weekend thing and played it 4 or 5 times with different people. Strike, you just throw in dice, try to be the last one alive. Super silly, super dumb, but consistently I have a good time with it. I'd probably rank it higher, except for it's such a dumb game. Anyway, Strike, number 21. Number 20, Fuji Flush. Another dumb game, but one that I have a lot of fun with. This is kind of group dependent. Played with a good group, so it was a little more fun than it probably should be. You can play this game totally randomly and maybe have a chance to win. But although I do think there's a little bit of strategy, and if you do certain things, you're going to give yourself a better opportunity to win. As you noticed on the frame here, I've played this game 95 times. Almost getting to the century mark. One, it plays really quick, works with a lot of different groups. Some members of my family really like this. When I go to a family gather and stuff, it's a thing I can pull out. Game group is a great filler game, so while you're waiting for another table to finish up before you get started, play a hand or two of Fuji Flush. It'll play up to 8, so it's very flexible in its player count. Fuji Flush, 20 out of 28 this month. Number 19, QE. This is the game of quantitative easing. It's an auction game where you can bid any number in existence, as long as you can write it down on the little bid thing. The little trick though is whoever bids the most will lose the game automatically. So there's a series of rounds that you're bidding on these commerce tiles, these different areas of business, and yeah, that's the game. As we were playing, some of the people kind of complained that you can definitely get in a situation where some people have better information and information earlier than everybody else, which kind of clues into like where you should be bidding if you want to be winning stuff. And that's probably true. The game's not super long, and it's just fun. It's a weird bidding mechanism. I can see where some people don't like it. I actually enjoy it quite a bit, but I played a lot of really good games this month, which probably makes it number 19. Number 18, Equinox. This is a Reiner Knizia. This is a reprint of an older game. And I meant to write it down. I think Colosseum is what it's called, and which I've never played. But basically, this is a tournament of the creatures, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to bet early enough on creatures that are going to be in play still at the end of the game. Every round, one of the creatures is going to get kicked out, and so if you bet on them early, you're going to lose out on points. I kind of played this solo, kind of just to get my feet wet, and then I introduced it to some people. So I only had one real play. Again, I misinterpreted a rule early in the game, so the beginning of the game didn't play according to rules, but the rest of the game, it would have changed things a little bit. It would have changed the scoring a little bit. But I think the game played out the way it was going to play out regardless. But yeah, I like it. It's from Plan B. It looks beautiful. I believe they're doing a Gollum edition of this to go along with like their Century Gollum ones. I believe I saw that. So if you like that artwork better, but yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting little game. I don't know if it's going to get a ton of plays from me, but it was interesting. Reiner Knizia has an interesting mind, and his bidding and auction games I tend to enjoy. Number 17, Imperium Classics. Imperium. This is a deck builder where everybody has kind of an asymmetrical deck of cards, and even like the cards you can get into your hand are asymmetrical. There are some cards that you can buy that everybody's kind of fighting over. I played it super late at night. I don't think I fully understood what I was really trying to do and how I would like put together like a competent hand or like competent strategy until about an hour into the game. And we played a little slow. I think if you knew what you were doing, this game would have probably played in 45 minutes to an hour. Ours went longer, and it was late at night. And like I said, didn't super understand it. But I want to play it again. Just, try out a different faction, see how it plays. But I wasn't super as enamored with it as some people are. It's got a lot of good press from people. It has like a 7.9 rate on BGG, which is really good. It's in the top 1,000. I don't know if I was feeling that from it, but I should play it again. Just after one play, those are my impressions. Next. skipped it. Ohanami got a few more plays of Ohanami in at the gaming weekend. Introduced it to some people, and they liked it. This is a really simple drafting game in which you're trying to collect cards and put them in a line. You can build off the top or the bottom of your garden, and you can build 3 different gardens. But you're just kind of drafting these numbers, and they have different colors to them. And each of the colors scores slightly different, so you're just trying to build your best one. It's super simple, super easy. There's sort of like some hate drafting that goes on if you're paying attention, but doesn't feel mean in that, because I don't think I'm at the level where I can like really pay attention to other people. But yeah, this is I really like this game. I'll probably play it a lot more. I'm at 9 total plays right now. I can see this being a game that I bring out fairly often for the next 5-10 years, and be like a game that gets 50 plus plays. Because I do enjoy it quite a bit. Went backwards. Number 15, Royals. I've played the Royals a few times, about once every couple years I play Royals. This had the benefit of maybe being my most thrilling victory over the weekend. And everybody kind of knew what I had the very last turn of the game. Everyone knew what I was fishing for. If I got the right card, it was going to be a huge swing in points, which ended up giving me the victory. And my very last card that I drew, I did the old Maverick trick where I didn't even look at it, picked it up, threw it on the table, and just listened to the groans of my defeated playmates. And anyway, that was kind of fun. But yeah, I was like 3 turns. I was just drawing for this, just searching for this one card, and the very last card I drew in the game, which gave me that swing. But anyway, this has like some elements of like Ticket to Ride, where you're picking up cards, making sets to get control over these different regions in Europe, different countries and different regions in those countries, and just trying to have control over the most royal family. I don't know if I understand the theme all that much, but it's a fun game. It really is. Sometimes you can get this real cheap for like $15. It was on like super deep discount at Miniature Market. I think while we were playing this, and I almost bought it. But yeah. Anyway, Royals, decent game. Number 9. This was a surprise of a game for me. You just think it would be ranked higher, but I do think there are some issues with the game which makes me not love it. But I'd heard some good things about this from people. I had read a couple of reviews and looked into it. This has been around for a year or two. And a BGG, it's like sub 7 total. So, but anyway, I was on Miniature Market. I needed some money, $10 or whatever, to get free shipping. This was on sale for like $12. I was like, all right. So I threw it in there, and yeah, it's really interesting. If you see the picture on the screen, so you're laying these tiles, and you want to get the higher numbered tiles higher off the table. For each level off the table, they multiply by that level. But there's some placement rules that make it really hard, and the shapes of the tiles are dumb, I think on purpose, and make it really hard. And but yeah, it's interesting. You play this solo, it plays this same amount of time if you're playing with up to 4 players, I think is what it handles in the box. And yeah, I thought it was an interesting tile laying game. Definitely worth giving it a shot. And you might, especially if you like the spatial type puzzles and trying to fit things in. This game's free. You can find it. I've seen it at Barnes & Noble or maybe even Target before. So it's findable. Next, Crusaders, I Will Be Done. I played this one time before in Walla Walla, probably in 2018 when it was published. Maybe 2019. And I didn't love it the first time I played it. The second time it made a little more sense. And I get it. It has like this Mancala type thing where you're picking up your little cylinders and moving around the board. Where you pick them up from is the action you get to do, and how powerful you do is how many things you picked up. So you're trying to set up the actions. There's a way to upgrade the tiles so they give you more flexibility and give you more things that you can do. Yeah, Seth Jaffe Tasty Minstrel Games, but Seth Jaffe made Eminent Domain, which was one of the very first games I played when I started getting into the hobby. My friend Jared had backed at a level that gave him several copies, and he passed one along to me. So I only had a few games, so I played it quite a bit. And but this was interesting. I think if I played it some more, I'd like it even more. So, like, it kind of grew on me. After that first play, I was very meh about it. But, I have a philosophy. I'll play whatever my opponents want to play if they really want to play it. So, anyway, Crusaders, I will be done. Pretty decent game. And hard at times. Number 12, Newsfjord. This is a Uwe Rosenberg game from a few years ago. 2017 published date. I just barely got it played, though. Very interesting, very Uwe Rosenberg worker placement type game. In this one, you are trying to get fish and feed elders and do different things to score points. I did not do a great job on this game. I didn't really understand which is very typical of me, of these Uwe Rosenberg games. I enjoy them. I'm just terrible at them. But, I had fun trying to figure out the puzzle. I'd definitely play this again. I'd play this game a lot more if somebody really wanted to play it with me. And if I find it cheap, I'd probably buy it. The only thing that pulled me off from buying it is I don't know if I would bring it out a lot on my own. Anyway, Newsfjord, pretty good game. My number 12 out of 28 for the month. Number 11, San Juan. I haven't played San Juan in several years. This is the card version of Puerto Rico, which used to be the number one game on Board Game Geek. Just all-time classic game. I played San Juan actually more than I played Puerto Rico. I played Puerto Rico a couple times, and but I really like this version. I'm looking at my plays. I only have 8 plays of this. It seems low because I feel like I've played it more, but apparently not. But it has a Puerto Rico thing where you take turns taking a action. You select an action, and everybody else gets to do that action, but weaker than the person who selected it, and then they reset after the round. So you can't always just do the thing that you want, the power you want to do it. So you got to set yourself up to kind of leech off other people's stuff. If you get that sequence right, you can play advantageously. There's different buildings that you can get that give you superpowers for the different actions, and getting the right ones that combine with the strategy that you're going for works pretty good. Yeah, really excellent game. A little older now. There's a second edition out, which I think includes some of the expansions, but which is probably just as fine. Anyway, it's a good game. This is actually a game I recommend most people try. If you don't think you'll like it, give it a go, and you might. Number 10, Similo. Played some rounds of Similo. I got the Spooky Edition, which is the newest set from Horrible Guild. I've had this game for not very long, and I've played it 65 times. First of all, you can play it very quickly, which helps in playing it lots of times. You can play it with a wide range of groups. You can play it 2-player. You can play it with a big group, a small group, whoever shows up, and the game doesn't go very long. In this game, you are trying to figure out the secret character, and you do so by one person being the clue giver and telling them that a card out of their hand is like or not like the secret character. And you have 5 rounds to kind of narrow the field until you get it. This Spooky set, I felt, was harder than all the other ones. A lot of the other ones you could do like male-female type things, or like the animal sets. You can really, I think it's easy to peg in the hierarchy of like mammals and reptiles and birds or whatnot, and kind of narrow things out that way. But man, these monsters, I think, were hard. It was hard to get on the same page as the clue giver. Definitely would play it again. Very appropriate for the month of Halloween. Anyway, Similo. You can buy a deck of these for under $10 online. I think it's worth a go. If in any way you like games where you get to give clues and work cooperatively and try to guess things, I think this game works great. Number 9, Nidavellir. Nidavellir. I've heard some really great reviews. I've played it online a couple of times. I finally got my copy. I've only got to play it a couple of times, and it's fallen flat-ish both times I've played it live. Online works pretty well. I like it, but I feel like the people I play with don't like it as much, and maybe I'm not explaining the game well enough, and that makes me feel bad. But anyway, hopefully I get to play this game some more with some people who appreciate it, because I do think it's clever. There is a little bit more going on, I think, than at first. When you first see the game, like, oh, it's pretty simple, but there's a bunch of hero cards that come in, and which can adjust your strategy quite a bit. There's some superpowers that kind of come into play halfway through the game. Anyway, good game. I enjoy it. I want to play it some more. I think this will actually go up if I got it some more plays. Anyway, my number 9 game this month. Number 8, Cascadia. This game's getting all the buzz. It's got an 8.1 rating on BGG, and I kind of waffle back and forth on it. I end up getting it, and I do not regret it. I feel like this game has worked pretty well with the groups I've played it in. The solo game plays just like a peach. I have 3 plays in October, and I've played it a few times in November, so this will show up next month on my video. But yeah, super great game. Looks gorgeous. Everything just works right. I mean, it probably could be fancier, but everything just works great with it. Anyway, my number 8 game, Cascadia. Number 7, Furnace. This is an interesting game. I didn't know a ton about it. I heard some good buzz, and I pre-ordered it, and it came in. And yeah, this game works really good. There are some variable player powers. So you get a character, and you get a little superpower, and you get a little starter factory thing. And then you bid on these cards. And the cool thing about the bidding is one person will win the bid, and other people who bid on it with you get a bid with a 1, 2, 3, or a 4 token, and so you can win it with potentially any token as long with a 1 if nobody else bids for it. But you but when you lose, the card has like a either a resource or a action that you can do up to that many times that you put the number on it. So sometimes losing with a 3, if it's a resource thing that's really good or an action that really helps you churn out your engine that you've been building, is just as good as maybe winning a card. And having that efficient engine, after you select the cards, you put them in and you run your engine in the order that makes sense for you. And anyway, really clever, really interesting. Really glad I picked up this game, Furnace. Looking forward to playing it some more in the future. Number 6, Lost Ruins of Arnak. I've played this online a couple of times, which don't count into my figures, and I got it played again with my copy. Yeah, this game is really popular, and it's pretty good. I don't know if I love it as much as everybody else, but I think it works really well. It's not overly complicated. It's like a medium-high level of complication. It looks really pretty. Once you kind of figure out what's going on, it runs pretty smoothly. One really cool thing I think in the game is that there's just 2 different types of cards, and they vary with how many are available throughout the game in a way that makes sense, because some cards are worth a lot more if you get them early. Other cards are more powerful, like kind of one-time use cards, and so more of those come out towards the end. Although getting them early can be really good, but there's only, your options are limited. Anyway, really interesting game. If you like action, like worker placement type games and deck building, I think it's a game that's worth a try. Speaking of Dune, a lot of people, the last game, Lost Ruins of Arnak and Dune Imperium, have been saying they're similar, and there are some passing similarities to the games. and they're definitely kind of fit into the same weight class. But I do think Dune Imperium is a better game. It's an action selection type thing, but this one's a race. You are racing to get to 10 points, and there's different ways to get there, and you're just trying to create the most efficient way to do that. It was funny. I was sitting there. I was like, I kind of took out to a fast lead, and I was like, but I was looking ahead. I was like, I'm gonna burn out like about 8 points, and I'm gonna be struggling trying to get those 10 points, and somebody's gonna pass me. I kind of predicted, and I was close to being right. I stalled out at 6 points for a long time. I think it ended up with 8. But I got to 6 really fast, and I just kind of stalled out, and other people came and passed me and kind of built up a better hand and did things. But I thought it was really interesting the way it worked. Definitely could play this game multiple times more. Speaking, I just saw the movie the other day. Beautiful, excellent. I'm not saying it's a perfect movie, but I'm definitely looking forward to part 2, type of thing. Anyway, Dune Imperium, good game, good movie. Anyway, number 4, So Clover. I've talked about it a lot. I just love this word game. I got to play it with my group and introduce this, and just really enjoyed this. I'm really just enjoying this game. I can bring it out all the time, play with different groups. There's something about it that's great. It's almost replacing like Codenames and Just One, which are both great, excellent games that I really enjoy. And this one is sort of like my favorite at the moment. Really good game. Highly recommend it. I've talked about it a lot, so I'll stop there. Number 3, Witchstone. Putting this together, this is surprising me a little bit. Witchstone's from Reiner Knizia and there's a Martin Cecchiette, and from R&R Games. And this is a Reiner Knizia game that almost feels a little bit like a Feld game. There's a little point salad thing going on here where you're doing these different actions. They all kind of score points, and you're just trying to be efficient in the way you do those. The main mechanism in the game is you have like these, just call them dominoes to make it simple, but they have 2 actions on them, and you place them on your board, and as you link them with other actions of the same type, you get that action more powerfully. So if you place them correctly, you can get really powerful actions, and you always get to do 2 different actions every turn, and trying to set those tiles up so they work the best for you. There's a little bit of these like crystals are in the way, so you got to move the crystals in order to place your tiles. And if you can move your crystals off the board, there's some bonus actions. There's a big board in the middle. Anyway, I really enjoy this game. I really hope I get to play this game some more. I really thought it was the perfect way. It's not overly complex. The group I was playing with, like we read the rules together because I didn't get a chance to read them before, and like during the rules, like, this seems really hard, and then you get like to turn 2, and you're like, okay, I get what's going on. This is pretty simple in what I'm gonna do, but it's thinky because there's lots of ways you can go about it. You do have a limit from what tiles you can choose from, so you have this bank of tiles, but you only get to choose from like 5 of them at a time, and that can kind of shape what you try to do. And anyway, really like this game. It's my number 3 for the month. Number 2, A Feast for Odin, just an all-time great classic game, Uwe Rosenberg. I did not do well. We played with the Norwegians expansion, which I think is the only second time I played with that expansion. And it changes some things, and my normal strategy that I use does not work, and it's an Uwe Rosenberg game, so even my normal strategy is probably going to lose against good players. But yeah, just a great game, worth all the praise that it gets. And my number 1 game, The Crew, The Quest for Planet 9. We ended up playing this for like 4 hours, and unlike the other 4-hour game that we played, it did not overstay its welcome, I don't think. We had a lot of good time playing through this. We kind of jumped in and out. People from the group kind of jumped out, and other people jumped in, but we started from the beginning and got as far as we could get. And yeah, trick-taking game extraordinaire. I highly recommend it. The Crew, The Quest for Planet 9. And these are the games that I played for this month. look forward to next month. I have some stuff to talk about and some more interesting in games. Like and subscribe, do all the things they're going to help me out, and we'll see ya when I see ya. I need to come up with a tagline.
Where? I'm making a YouTube video, Bev.